In the world of action sports, especially in skateboarding and snowboarding, we are surrounded by brands. There are tons of different brands that are vying for our attention, and there are different people that are trying to represent all of these different brands in the community. And so some of these people are called sales reps. Sales reps are pushing a brand or pushing a product because the more that they can sell, the more that they get paid, right? Pro riders get sponsored, and as a part of their sponsorship deal, they have to represent the brand to a certain number of people. And the more people that they can get to buy into the brand, usually the more they get paid, or the better their sponsorship becomes. And then there are those people who are just brand ambassadors. When I think about a brand ambassador, I think about somebody who they just love the brand. They wear the clothes, they talk about it with their friends, they recommend it, even though they're not getting paid. They love it, they're passionate about it. And these people, they're not necessarily motivated by trying to get paid more. It's because they've already experienced the benefits of this brand or the product. They just want to share it with other people. So that's what I think of when I think of a brand ambassador. They've experienced it and they advocate for it. They represent it because they love it, right? And I think that brand ambassadors, they're the ones who give you the most genuine, authentic representation of that brand, right? Because they're not getting paid for it. They don't have a contract on the line for it. It's just, they're just being genuine, authentic, and real and honest about their representation of that brand. So in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, Paul is pointing out that he has been reconciled to God. And he's actually writing this letter to some people who were kind of trying to sell this whole Jesus thing. And as a result, they were earning some money, and they were getting more notoriety within the community. And Paul is arguing, and he's saying, look, I've experienced the reconciliation of God in my life. Paul, all of us, we're separated from God because of our sin. But Jesus died on the cross and paid the penalty for our sin. And if we trust in Jesus' work on the cross, then we are saved, right? And so Paul is saying, I've been reconciled, I've been saved, I've already experienced the goodness of God. And I'm not out here telling people about Jesus so that I can get paid or so that I can become more popular or anything like that. Like, he's saying, I've experienced God's work in my life, and it's changed me. A couple of weeks ago, I actually taught about a verse in this same chapter in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. In verse 17, Paul says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone and the new has come. So again, Paul is saying, I've experienced this. My old self, my old life, that's gone, and the new life has come because I've experienced Christ changed my life. And as Paul is saying, like, I've been reconciled to God, he also says in verse 20, therefore, we are Christ's ambassadors, as though Christ were making his appeal through us. We implore you, or we beg you, be reconciled to God. And so, as a disciple of Jesus, we represent Jesus in who we are. It's not something that we do so that we can gain more clout or so that we can get paid or something like that. No, we are ambassadors of Christ because we have experienced the reconciliation of God, because we've experienced how God can change a person and how God can make us new, right? And so we are ambassadors of Christ because of that. Our motive is different. We don't represent Christ because it benefits us hopefully down the line. We represent Christ because he's already done his work on the cross, and we've experienced that in our life, right? We represent Christ because we love Jesus. And so we are ambassadors of Christ, not just in like what we do or what t-shirts we wear or whatever, but like because we've experienced God in our life, we want to share that with other people. Because we've been reconciled to God, we want to share that reconciliation with others. So I want to encourage you, and I want to ask you kind of a challenging question. Are you an ambassador for Christ? Not in what you do, but in who you are. Have you experienced Christ in such a way where you have been changed? And then do you want to represent that to everyone else, regardless of what it gets you or does not get you? Because in reality, what Jesus said is that you will be persecuted because of Christ. So it's not necessarily going to get you paid more or get you more notoriety within the community, which was what Paul was arguing against. He was saying, look, this isn't about me, this is about Jesus. And he's saying, I'm an ambassador of Christ, and God is making his appeal through me that you should be reconciled to God, not because it benefits me in any way, but because I've experienced it, and I want you to know the goodness of God. So I want to challenge you and encourage you, be an ambassador for Christ. If Christ has changed your life, be an ambassador for Jesus. We'll see you later.